Hey everybody, live and local from Shore Road in Linwood. It's Saturday with Shore Local Live. I'm Cindy and I'm here with my co-host Mike and fabulous producer behind the glass, Audra. Hi, I hope everybody's holding on to their hats today. It's a windy one, even on the mainland. The wind is always colder on the islands though, with the chilly ocean temperatures. But this is a very special day for Shore Local because it's our third anniversary. Our anniversary issue published yesterday and is now on newsstands anywhere free papers are found. We want to give a shout out to the two local artists that created our magazine covers, and that's John Baker of John Baker Art on the mainland cover, which shows the iconic characters that symbolize Atlantic City, the diving horse, Lucy the elephant, Mr. Peanut, and the Monopoly Man, all known worldwide for generations. And what are they doing? What else? Gambling. They're sitting around a card table with poker chips. Bob and I like to think that they are betting on the odds of a small, family-owned startup publication making it 3 years. Well, we are truly humbled and thankful to still be here, and we're thankful for the support of our readers, listeners, advertisers, contributors, and the entire community for giving us the opportunity to shine a light on South Jersey and on all the good things that happen here. Our coastal magazine cover was created by the amazing Christina Young of Piece of Wood in Ocean City, and she beautifully captures the essence of the upcoming Girls Weekend in Ocean City. And we also want to give a shout out to Dan Myers, who is filming this show for Shore Local Live, and we're hoping to make it available on YouTube. So thank you, Dan. And Dan's photography has been featured on Shore Local News Magazine covers multiple times. If you haven't seen his work, make sure you stop by the shops at Staten on Asbury Avenue in Ocean City and take a look because they're amazing. And speaking of icons, what is the name of the Monopoly Man with the top hat and the cane? Does anybody know? If you are the fourth caller, then we will that knows the name of the Monopoly Man, we will mail you a $20 gift card to another South Jersey icon, Wawa. So call in now at 609-927-1100 and tell us the name of the Monopoly Man with the top hat and cane. All right, and speaking of Wawa, Wawa's going to be getting some competition. Royal Farms on the corner of Fire Road and Tilton is nearly completed, and it's going to be opening up soon with 2 more locations set to come into Atlantic County. So check out the story on page 3 of Shore Local News Magazine to see more about that. But we're going to turn our attention now to our guest, Dawn Belamarich of Recovery Centers of America at Lighthouse. Oh. And, I think all of us have been touched by or know somebody that's lives has really been impacted by addiction. And it's a serious issue, and it's devastating how many lives are being lost to addiction. So if your life has been touched by it, or your loved one has been impacted by it, feel free to call in, talk to us, talk to Dawn, 609-927-1100. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you.
Yes. It's incredibly beautiful, and we expanded on November 8th from 53 beds for patients to 133, so a substantial expansion.
Yeah,
And I think we're really proud of the physical layout of the building, the aesthetic. I think it really helps with destigmatizing addiction and the disease for people coming in for treatment. But really, I think we take a lot more pride on the actual services that we deliver to patients. So I think you hit it on the head. I spent a lot of time in the nonprofit world, so I have an idea of, how to help people, what people need. But when I came over to Recovery Centers of America Lighthouse around 2 years ago, it was really based on the mission to save 1 million lives. So, I think everyone, like you pointed out, Cindy, has been affected by the disease of addiction, knows someone, loves someone who's been affected, but really I wanted to make a more lasting impact on addiction. So our number is 1-800-RECOVERY. When an individual or a family member, loved one calls that number, they will get a live person 24 hours, 7 days a week within 10 seconds. So there's no voicemail, there's no admissions department. It is a live system, contact center. And really they start the process of getting a little bit of information.
Okay.
So whether it's, their substance use history, how much they've been using, what their current living situation is, who will be supportive of treatment, and then the best location for them, because not only do we have our location in Mays Landing, but we have locations in Pennsylvania, in Maryland, in Boston. So it's really determining what's the best fit. We're a neighborhood model, so we want to keep individuals as close to home as possible so that they can loop all their positive supports into treatment with them.
Yeah, and then once, say, they're admitted, whether it be inpatient or even just on an outpatient, you stay in readily contact, right, with the family
Absolutely.
members and encourage them,
Yeah,
before
so
let them know what's going on.
when a patient, we work really hard to involve as many people in a patient's treatment as possible from the minute they enter the door. So when a patient admits to our facilities, the loved one is contacted immediately. Within 72 hours, the counselor that's been assigned to them will coordinate with them weekly family sessions, education modules that we have, really helping loved ones get education and information on the disease of addiction, how they can help their loved one, how they can support them post treatment. The most crucial piece is not only the treatment of that loved one, but the support of the loved ones while the patient is in treatment, because if someone's in treatment 28 days, that's a short period of time for them to return to the same environment
Right.
without those supports having the information they need to help them be successful.
So you need that safety net. That's so
Absolutely.
important, right?
And,
to
and
continue
not only the
success.
safety net,
Yeah,
right.
right.
People that understand the disease and how they can best
understanding.
support them.
Yep, and best support them. And I guess there's so many causes, right? There's something usually underlying or a set of circumstances, right, that could have created this.
Right.
And
Yeah,
So
so we're seeing now with the opioid epidemic a lot of different factors than we had previously. So, you could have a high school sports injury now and receive painkillers that lead to, a severe opioid addiction down the road. But, a lot of our patients have 80% at any given time some identified trauma at some course in their life, whether it's family problems, abuse, neglect, relational strains, things of that nature. We really have a lot of patients that are coming in with different factors underlying mental health, anxiety, depression, first responders with some post-traumatic stress disorder from seeing some things in the field.
Yeah.
The goal is really to meet the patient where they're at and help them dig deep to identify the factors that led to addiction.
Are you seeing any improvement in the opioid addiction with the change in prescription? I think the doctors aren't as readily handing out prescriptions to the opioid painkillers as they were a couple years back.
So I think one of the good things that the epidemic has done is really drawn attention to how prescribers are, giving medications and for what they're giving medications for. So I wouldn't necessarily we've seen an improvement, but I would say that legislation and community awareness is catching up to where the epidemic is.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing, but again, these medications are easily addicted. They're narcotic medications, so tolerance can happen within 72 hours. It's a quick turnaround time, and I think we really owe it to our communities to provide that education, because anyone with a broken bone can receive the same medications as anyone that may be using other substances of abuse.
Yeah, how important do you think continuing education is for, say, big pharma and also physicians? There's some responsibility, if not all responsibility, comes there to closely monitoring that situation. You may, somebody with a pain or a pull or a ligament, or you may give 30-day supply, which is not necessary.
Right. So physical, emotional, behavioral, whatever the case may be, that no one knows your loved one better than you. If there's different signs that are coming about, start asking questions, start giving support, and again, if you have reason to believe anything, you can call us directly. Yeah,
and I do feel that a lot of times there's confrontation within a family, disappointing and really come after somebody hard. Would you discourage that kind of movement? More like, come talk to me, come a
right.
little bit
So
easier?
it depends.
Yeah.
There's not always direct confrontation in families.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's the absolute opposite, which is silence, is acceptance kind of thing.
Okay.
This is a disease that really functions in isolation.
Yeah.
A lot of people using substances and or abusing them become very isolative, secret, do it in privacy. So my recommendation to a loved one, and I say this all the time, is again, no one knows that individual, no one loves that individual more than you do. So it's really just starting the conversation. You know, if you're typically a confrontational person, then that may naturally come out. But I think without the conversation, we kind of just have an acceptance of it. And
that's the starting point.
Yeah, the
everybody, the benefit
conversation.
of the doubt, just take it.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Actually, we have two callers on the line. Hi, welcome to Shore Local Live.
Hi.
Hi, is this Carol?
Here, Bastion.
Oh.
Christian School. How are you?
Hey, Carol, how are you? Good, good. Thank you for calling.
Absolutely. Right. HBSEHT.org and search them online. They can call the school office Monday morning, the latest, 609-653-1199. But really, everything online closes down Sunday at midnight.
Okay, very nice. And Kirk Cameron will be speaking. And you have a silent auction also?
Yes, a silent auction, and there's a VIP experience ticket if folks want to meet him and have a photo with him during a reception time before the dinner and program. So there's a couple levels of tickets available. That's going to be a great evening.
And that event is Friday, March 29th.
Yep.
And one more time, how can folks get tickets?
Yes, it's hbseht.org, our school's website, and it's today and tomorrow until midnight.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Carol. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
We have one more caller on the line. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Cindy.
Hey, thank you for calling Shore Local Live. How are you?
Great.
That's good. What are you calling about today? Did you want to?
Question?
Oh, okay. You know the name of the Monopoly Man?
I think I do.
All right. What is it?
Mr. Moneybags?
Close. He's a relative. Think of it like a relative.
Uncle Moneybags.
Yes. Yes. Uncle Rich Pennybags. All right. Close enough, Joe. Thank you so much for calling in. And if you can please leave your address with our producer, Audra, and then we'll get that $20 gift card to Wawa out in the mail to you.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Have a great day.
Well, he was a lot closer to me. I thought it was Dr. Zeus. But,
I had no idea.
Okay.
I was like, that sounds right.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
I never knew it either. All right. Okay, Dawn, back to some serious issues. If your family has been impacted by addiction, I guess the first step is the conversation. And when you have the conversation and the person's ready to seek treatment and help, what does it look like? What
Our number is 1-800-RECOVERY. When an individual or a family member, loved one calls that number, they will get a live person 24 hours, 7 days a week within 10 seconds. So there's no voicemail, there's no admissions department. It is a live system, contact center. And really they start the process of getting a little bit of information.
Okay.
So whether it's, their substance use history, how much they've been using, what their current living situation is, who will be supportive of treatment, and then, the best location for them, because not only do we have our location in Mays Landing, but we have locations in Pennsylvania, in Maryland, in Boston. So it's really determining what's the best fit. We're a neighborhood model, so we want to keep individuals as close to home as possible so that they can loop all their positive supports into treatment with them.
Yeah, and then once, say, they're admitted, whether it be inpatient or even just on an outpatient, you stay in readily contact, right, with the family
Absolutely.
members and encourage them,
Yeah,
so let them know what's going on.
When a patient, we work really hard to involve as many people in a patient's treatment as possible from the minute they enter the door. So when a patient admits to our facilities, the loved one is contacted immediately. Within 72 hours, the counselor that's been assigned to them will coordinate with them weekly family sessions, education modules that we have, really helping loved ones get education and information on the disease of addiction, how they can help their loved one, how they can support them post treatment. The most crucial piece is not only the treatment of that loved one, but the support of the loved ones while the patient is in treatment, because if someone's in treatment 28 days, that's a short period of time for them to return to the same environment
Right.
without those supports having the information they need to help them be successful.
So you need that safety net. That's so
Absolutely.
important, right?
And,
to
and
continue
not only
a
the safety
success.
net,
Yeah,
right.
right.
People that understand the disease and how they can best
understanding.
support them.
Yep, and best support them. And I guess there's so many causes, right? There's something usually underlying or a set of circumstances, right, that could have created this.
Right.
And
Yeah,
So,
so we're seeing now with the opioid epidemic a lot of different factors than we had previously. So, you could have a high school sports injury now and receive painkillers that lead to, a severe opioid addiction down the road. But, a lot of our patients have 80% at any given time some identified trauma at some course in their life, whether it's family problems, abuse, neglect, relational strains, things of that nature. We really have a lot of patients that are coming in with different factors underlying mental health.
Yeah.
Anxiety, depression, first responders with some post-traumatic stress disorder from seeing some things in the field.
Yeah.
The goal is really to meet the patient where they're at and help them dig deep to identify the factors that led to addiction.
Are you seeing any improvement in the opioid addiction with the change in prescription? I think the doctors aren't as readily handing out prescriptions to the opioid painkillers as they were a
Right.
couple years back.
So I think one of the good things that the epidemic has done is really drawn attention to how prescribers are, giving medications and for what they're giving medications for. So I wouldn't necessarily we've seen an improvement, but I would say that legislation and community awareness is catching up to where the epidemic is.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing, but again, these medications are easily addicted. They're narcotic medications, so tolerance can happen within 72 hours. It's a quick turnaround time, and I think we really owe it to our communities to provide that education, because anyone with a broken bone can receive the same medications as anyone that may be using other substances of abuse.
Yeah, how important do you think continuing education is for, say, big pharma and also physicians? There's some responsibility, if not all responsibility, comes there to closely monitoring that situation. You may, somebody with a pain or a pull or a ligament, or you may give 30-day supply, which is not necessary.
Have someone in treatment for 28 days, and as we're working with them, we realize we can't provide the education to the people in their home that they need. We don't think it's a conducive environment for them to return to. Then we start exploring options.
Okay.
Thankfully for us, we have really impeccable relationships with Oxford houses and sober living facilities in the neighborhood. So we get a real live view of what's going on in the house at that time, because things change and evolve.
Yeah.
But really, we've built strong partnerships in the community with those living environments, so that if we know a patient is going to be able to return to their last environment, that we have a solid plan for them. So yes, and sober living may not be for everyone. The environment to which they live, family therapy and family education may have been supportive enough that they can return and continue treatment on an outpatient basis. But, sometimes that's not the case, and we do have the responsibility to ensure that we send them to a housing environment that's going to be conducive to their
Healthy
recovery.
environment is probably right.
Absolutely. Even if just temporarily.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the environmental factors we do work to address and talk about while they're there. So, well.
Yes.
And I think if the epidemic taught anyone anything, it's that we need to support the members of our team, but also we need to be supportive of, if someone has diabetes, that it would be the same medical standard and treatment expectations as someone that has a disease of
Absolutely,
addiction.
short-term
Yeah.
disability, whatever it might be. And speaking, I guess, of benefits, you take, would it be Medicaid or Medicare or welfare, or whatever it is, you're not going to turn anybody down for having a problem and wanting to come in for
Right.
help, right?
So when someone calls 1-800-RECOVERY at our sites, we take private insurance and self-pay. We take Medicaid on the outpatient side, so state funding. We've provided scholarships to people more times than I've seen any company do.
Wow.
Even like I said, even if it's these insurance companies there's billions of them. So, even if it's something we can't take, or if it's Medicaid inpatient, that individual when they call is not just okay, call someone else. They're getting a text message with 5, 6, 7 places that they can get a person on the phone immediately to get the help that they need.
Yeah.
So
So great.
the point of the mission center that we have with the 10 seconds or less live person answering 365 days a year is that no person goes untreated, whether RCA can provide the services or not.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that people may not want to admit there's a problem, and I'm guilty of this, we're all guilty of this, where we pretend everything's great. Has social media kind of intensified that?
So if this is my personal opinion,
Okay.
social media is, unfortunately, there's opinions galore.
Right.
So, I will say the good and bad in social media. I'll try to stay politically correct.
Okay.
So the bad of social media is that there's millions of people following you at any time that are giving their opinion about addiction, about your life, about, their views, whatever the case may be. The positive piece of social media is that maybe 15, 20 years ago, you didn't have one or two positive people.
Yeah.
And now there's positive people that are sending a message, thinking about you, or, addiction is a disease and I recovered. And there's a lot of specific forums dedicated to recovery. There's a lot of online 12-step meetings that are coming to fruition. So, it is easy with social media and the internet and YouTube to see all the doom and gloom.
Right.
You
But
know-
connecting with the right people is
Absolutely.
critical.
Absolutely.
That's great. I love the groups that on Facebook that you can join. Just as a parent of a child with autism, I could join a group for moms of
Yeah.
children with autism.
That understand.
Yeah, that understand exactly, and will support the journey and the recovery.
Right. So that addition to social media is
Yeah.
fantastic because for someone who's readily on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, knowing that they have a community of people when they're at home by themselves that they can communicate with that are going to be supportive of them is a fantastic thing.
Yeah,
Right.
I think one of your, mottos is that you guide people through their journey of recovery to bring about a positive and sustainable change in
Right.
their life. So you're really you're there all through that process
Yep.
and well beyond.
Definitely.
Right.
The goal is not to, quick in and out, hope it worked out.
Yeah.
The goal is that people are able to leave and have fulfilling lives and
Right.
to different lives than they came in with, but that they see that there is really this hope at the end of the tunnel and that they're able to do it without the use of substances. So it's really important.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes,
How
it is.
long has RCA at Lighthouse been there?
So in 2015, is when the acquisition took place. So a couple years. And in that time, like I said, Lighthouse was the first acquisition that they had. They're popping up all over. So,
That's great.
1 million lives isn't done in the silo of one facility.
Yeah.
So
There's not 1 million people in the county, so
right,
it can't be accomplished here.
right.
Right.
It's a lofty
Yeah,
goal,
yeah, yeah.
but I mean, when you think realistically of if there's upwards of 85% of the people in this state that don't get the help they need,
Yep.
then that's alarming to even think of that. So.
Dawn, we only have about a minute left for, I guess, this first hour of segment in the show. Tell us a little bit about your charities. We know you're involved in the community, especially in Atlantic City.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, I do sit on some Chelsea Neighborhood Association and other associations. Community involvement is extremely important to me, and it makes it really easy to see great people like you guys and everyone else that's out there kind of doing the same thing. We have other nonprofits and things that we work with closely, and just on a Recovery Centers of America front, I think it's important for us to get involved with you guys and other organizations that we may not be able to talk to as readily because it's in the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all
Yeah.
fighting this together, and
Excellent.
we're all trying to get a positive message out and make sustainable change.
It's
So,
a unified effort, collaborative effort with everybody in the community and
Absolutely.
everybody that advocates for it, and teaming up together to accomplish
That's
one,
right.
one goal, one mission here.
That's right.
That's fantastic.
Dawn Belamarich. I
That's
cannot
good. You're doing so
thank
good.
you.
You get a sticker
You get the
today,
star.
so you get
I
the
do,
prize,
I
all right?
Thank you so much. Such great information. One last time, what's the phone number people can call if they're concerned?
1-800-RECOVERY, easiest way, live person, 10 seconds or less, and you can call about anything. You will get a person every time. You'll not have a voicemail. You can talk to someone now.
And you may get Dawn.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're lucky enough. That's right.
Thank
wow,
you,
that's so
Dawn.
fantastic.
Awesome.
You're
you rock,
awesome.
you roll.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you. You guys are amazing.
We